This program will solve a problem using nested ifs and compound conditionals, or ands and ors. So my problem specification is to create a program that displays the number of calories needed to maintain your current weight. So how many calories do you have to eat a day to maintain your current weight? The number of calories needed is based on gender, activity level, and weight. The multiplier for calculating the daily calories is listed in the table down below. So an active female will need to eat 12 calories per pound of her weight every day to maintain her current weight. Inactive female, 10 calories per pound. Active male, 15 calories per pound. Inactive male, 13 calories per pound. So our output, the thing we have to calculate, the calories needed, can be calculated 4 different ways. If something can be calculated multiple ways, then we need to use an if statement for it. So if we have an active female, then calories needed is going to equal her weight times 12. If it's an inactive female, it's her weight times 10. If it's an active male, it's his weight times 15. And if it's an inactive male, it's his weight times 13. Okay, so 4 different ways to calculate it. So I've already done a good deal of this. We already know how to figure out our input variables and our output variables, and they've been transferred down below. Gender is going to be a character variable, so we initialize it to a space. There's a space in between those quotes there. Activity level also will be a character, and we initialize that to blanks. The weight, we made a double, and the calories needed, we made a double. Now when we did the input, we're going to have the user enter M or F for their gender. So if you want the user to enter something specific, you need to tell them that in the prompt. So if I want them to enter M or F, I need to tell them that. They're going to enter either M or F, hopefully. And then it's standard practice to take character data and change its case to uppercase. You can also change something to lowercase, but we tend to store data in uppercase. Remember, our ASCII collating sequence, uppercase letters and lowercase letters are not equal to each other, so they would sort differently. So we put everything in uppercase for storage. So this toUpper function will take the variable gender, which is a character, and it will change it to uppercase and then put it back in the variable gender. If it was uppercase to begin with, it will still stay uppercase. We do the same thing with the activity level. We want them to enter I or A. Get the activity level, and then we change it to uppercase. Now that part is pretty easy. The weight is straightforward. Now here's our processing. That in, I'm going to come back to that in a little bit. Our output is pretty much our standard output, the same way we've always done it, but we have added this fixed and set precision. These are modifiers for the cout command. Fix will keep it from going into scientific notation, and the set precision with the 0 will have it show nothing to the right of the decimal point, so it will look like an integer, and we'll also round up if it needs to be rounded up. Now this part, my processing. There's actually 2 different ways that we can do this. So we're going to solve this first as a compound conditional. We'll look at what the user entered for the gender and for the activity level. So in this first set of instructions, if the gender is equal to uppercase F, remember we changed the variable gender to an uppercase using the toUpper command, and 2 ampersigns is an and, the activity level is equal to uppercase A. That's how we would say active female. That's how we would determine whether or not the user is an active female. And then we do our calories needed calculations. Else if, this is a continuation of this statement, so we're going to have the else keyword. If the gender is F and the activity level is I, and very common mistake when you're just learning how to program in C++ is to use a single equal sign instead of a double equal sign. The double equal sign is comparison. A single equal sign is assignment. They're not the same thing. Here we're comparing, so we want to use a double equal sign. So if both of these things are true, this is a calculation we'll do. So if it's a female and she's inactive, else, continuing with our if statement, if it's not this and it's not this, we're going to check and see if the gender is M and the activity level is A. If that is true, so they're going to be our calculations for our weight. Else, if the gender is equal to M and the activities level is I, so if it's an inactive male, this will be our calculation for calories needed. This could also be done as a nested if, where we check first for the gender. And then once we've determined the gender, if it's F, then we check to see the activity level. So check to see the gender if it's F, and then it comes down and says if the activity level is A, then this will be our calories needed. So this is really like the same as saying if gender is F and activity level is A. It will not come down here and check for the activity level if the gender is not F. Okay. So it's a different way to do it. This is a fully nested if. So if this if statement is false, if gender is not F, it will come down and do this set of calculations. Copy this and put it into my hypo chart. And then we can take this and put it into our program. Basic shell of my program is still the same. However, I have included another file, iomanip, I-O-M-A-N-I-P. That's where our set precision is stored. So if we want to use a set precision command, we have to include iomanip. So let's see if this runs. And it does. So I'm going to enter a gender, M, and an activity level, I'm going to say I, and I'm going to enter a weight of 100. So number of calories needed to maintain their weight is 1,300. Male, 13 calories per pound. So I really should test to be sure that this program works, all four of those scenarios. So that's the program that demonstrates nested ifs and compound conditionals.